Hi and welcome to the virtual open day activity for Level 2 Horse Care 2020. I'm Rachel Watson, I'm Programme Area Manager for the equine department, and what you're going to be doing today is looking at and clicking through some slides, watching some videos and answering some questions, maybe doing some videos, maybe doing some photos and even a TikTok. You may also decide that you want to do a poster. There's some poster activities here. If you'd like to send all your work to Jo Potts, she's the Level 2 in horse care tutor at the moment, and she'll be able to pass feedback and send some information back to you about how well you've done. I'm sure you'll all do really well. If you do anything that you want to post and tag us in on social media, then our Instagram page is Brooksby Equine College. Do tag us in. We'd love to see your work, and we'll share it with everyone else if you want us to. Now, have a great time. I hope you enjoy yourselves, and contact us if you've got any problems. Thank you.
I'm Sally, I'm the Assistant Centre Manager here at Brooksby, and this is Dave. Dave's a little star. He is 8 years old and he's one of our working liveries. We've had him about a year and he goes pretty well on the flat. We're trying to encourage him to be a little bit more off the leg, and he'll jump around a course of about 40 to 50 centimetres pretty well. Today we're going to be talking about grooming. It's really important to understand the benefits of grooming. Not only to keep your horse nice and shiny, he looks quite shiny out in the sunshine anyway, but to also keep you aware of anything that's wrong with them, so you can check them over as you do it. Be aware of any natural lumps and bumps that they have, so if there is any injuries or any part of them is swollen, you'll be able to recognise that straight away. It's really good for their coat and skin condition, and it's also really good for improving muscle tone through the pressure release of the brushes as you go. Today we're going to be grooming out in the open. Dave looks quite happy out in the open, and it just means that any dust that we take off his coat isn't going to come back and sit back on his coat straight away. Some horses don't like being outside, so you might have to groom them in a stable, in which case make sure you take out the horse's water. It doesn't matter about their hay. Some horses are more settled with hay, and it might actually help keep them still. We need to be careful about the area and make sure that it's nice and safe. It's not really ideal to be getting crushed between a wall and a horse, and we need to keep the area free of any equipment, because some of the equipment that we are going to use, our grooming kit, some parts can be quite sharp, so we don't want to keep them on the floor. The grooming kit that we have here, we've got it all up on the wall here so you can see, and we'll go through each part as we go. Where he could then put his hoof. We then need to remove the mud that might be on the top of his coat. I mean, he looks quite clean, but this is a good place to start, and we're going to use a dandy brush. This is a hard brush, and it removes the mud from the top of his coat. All of my brushes I'm going to use with my hand closest to the horse to make sure that I can get maximum pressure. So I'm going to use this in a sort of flicking action to remove any dirt from his coat. And I'm demonstrating you this. If I was to be doing a thorough groom, I might be doing this for a little bit longer. A thorough groom where you clean your horse up properly, correctly, would be sort of 45 minutes, maybe even an hour, depending on how dirty your horse is, and you'd want to be doing that every day. After using the dandy brush or a sort of flicking type brush to remove the mud from the top of the coat, I then want to use this, a rubber curry comb, to get the grease out from further down deeper in the coat, and I'd use that in a circular action. Again, all over the horse's body. It also acts as a form of massage, and we were saying about improving muscle tone and improving circulation. This is one way of doing that. Following this, I'm going to be using a body brush along with a metal curry comb. This helps take the dirt away and the grease away from the coat. You can see that all the grease that now was sitting on top of the coat is now being moved away from the coat, and you can use this brush in big sweeping actions together with this, a metal curry comb. This doesn't ever want to be used on the horse, it's quite sharp. And I'm going to use this to clean my brush. So every time that I've done 3 of these big sweeping actions, I then want to be going across my brush with the metal curry comb to clean the brush, because there's no point in putting a dirty brush back on the horse. Once all the grease and the dirt gets in the metal curry comb, I need to clean that, and I do that by tapping it out on the wall, and you can see all the dirt falling off the metal curry comb. And you can also see how this would help to improve muscle tone as well. If you notice, I've got no gloves on, because all the time I want to be looking and stroking the horse's body to make sure that I can feel for any of those lumps and bumps that we said about. So now we've got a lot of the dirt and the dust away from the horse's body, we're going to look at the horse's mane and tail. To do the horse's mane and tail, we don't want to be using too harsh a brush, because that might pull out any pieces of mane. Some horses don't have an awful lot of hair. I'm just going to move him across to the other side. So we're going to do his mane and his tail now. And we've got various brushes here that we can use. Softer rather than a harsh dandy brush. So we can use a body brush, or we can use a proper, like you'd use on your own hair, a hair brush. Or we've got a mane comb here. This definitely doesn't want to be used in the tail though. So with Dave here, notice how now that I'm on the other side of him, I'm using the brush in the other hand. I might use the body brush on his mane to start off with. And actually his mane's in quite good condition, so I'd probably then use the hair brush here to brush his mane and his forelock. And then I do the same with the tail. So depending on how knotted his tail is, again I might start with the body brush, and I'm going to do his tail by standing slightly to the side and holding the tail up in one hand, and then dividing the tail out into pieces and brushing the pieces as they fall out of my hand. And you keep going, he's got quite a thick tail, and you keep going until you've gone through all of his tail. So now we hopefully have removed the dirt from the horse's coat. We then want to put a little bit more shine on the horse's coat. Then we need to return back to the body brush and the metal curry comb. And again we go back to sweeping brush strokes, cleaning the metal curry comb all the time. Cleaning the body brush all the time, sorry, and then cleaning the metal curry comb as we go to take the dust and the grease out of it. And you want to keep going with this until you've got a really good shine on your horse's coat. So other areas that we've missed are his face. So his face is obviously quite sensitive on his face. We'd want to use a soft brush. So we'd then go back again to the body brush. I'm just going to move him round because we might just take off his head collar so you can see. We'd undo the quick release knot in our lead rope. And we'd secure him with the head collar around his neck, and we're just going to gently hold his head and brush round his eyes, face and nose. And he looks like he really enjoys that. Good boy. And we do that on both sides. Oh, bless him. In our grooming kit we should also have at least 2 sponges. One that cleans his dock, so his bottom area, and one that cleans his eyes and his nose, or ideally one that cleans his eyes and one that cleans his nose. So we'll secure him back up. So as we said, a thorough groom should take 40 minutes to an hour. A quick groom, we've got to be realistic, a lot of people are in a rush and they need to go off and ride their horse. Probably around 20 minutes, focusing on the areas where the horse's tack goes, the saddle and the bridle, so that the horses don't get any sores. If your horse comes in from the field and they're particularly dirty and you're going off to a show or competition, or you just, it was a nice day, you can also give your horse a full body bath using shampoo and a bucket and a sponge. Going to a competition and you'd used your body brush and you wanted to put a bit of extra shine on your horse's coat, you could use a hot cloth, which is just a piece of cloth put in a hot bucket of water, which removes any extra grease from the horse's coat and puts a good shine on your horse. And there's also quarter markers that you can get that go on the horse's bottom, and you move the coat in opposite directions to make a shape on the horse's bottom. Over here we've also got some hoof oil, which not only is good for the horse's hooves, but also makes them shiny. So that's probably grooming, really. Dave would perhaps just like to show you his moustache to finish. His moustache has been reduced by eating lots of grass in the field, but he normally has a pretty good moustache, and he's a bit of a dude. So that's Dave and grooming.